Let's talk about raising baby chickens for the first time ever. While I sit in this car rider line and this little one is taking a nap. So a few things that I wish somebody would have told me before about chickens, just kind of, prep me for their behaviors. I think that's the part. It's not like buying the tray, the watering tray, buying a feeder, not that stuff, because there's like a gazillion ton of videos out there about that stuff. And I watched almost last one of them. I watched everything. When I get like fixated on something, I do a deep dive and I research a lot on that topic. So I'm ready, right? I like to be prepared. But I don't think people talk enough about chicken behaviors, the baby chicks, how they behave and how they react to things. So just because they're chirping doesn't mean that something's wrong, right? That's what they do, number one. But you just like a baby, you kind of get to know their cries, it's the same thing. So just because they're chirping doesn't mean there's something wrong. But if it's a loud chirp, they could be telling you, hey, I'm hungry. Hey, I need something to drink, and ain't nothing in here for me to do, to get to drink or eat. And sometimes it very well may be some in there, but they don't like drinking out of dirty water. They don't like drinking out of dirty feeders. That's just my experience. So even the baby chickens that mine are, I have some that are 5 weeks old, almost 5 weeks old, and I have some that are 3 weeks old. They, when they kick so much and scratch around that the wood chips fly into the waterer, they fly into the feeder, and they don't have sense enough, it seems like sometimes, or maybe it's just not room enough or whatever, to move the chips, the shavings and stuff out of the way, like especially in the feeder, so they can get to the feed. So just kind of be mindful of that and pay attention. Do they chirp loud when they're hungry? Do they chirp softly when they're hungry, when they're cold, when they're too hot? It's just like a baby. Okay. Now that waterer is probably the most annoying part of all of this. I can feel the reservoir up, but it has a tray at the bottom. There's nothing that props it up off the ground. It just kind of lays on the ground. I wished I would have got one that props up. I've put some bowls underneath. I've put tops underneath, and the water just slides off. So then the water is tilted over, and so then it all pours out into the coop or into the brooder. So I have a doggy pad on the very bottom of the brooder, and then the wood chips on top, so I would catch moisture in case it was a thing. So that has been very, very helpful to have a doggy pad or a pet pad on the very bottom, and then put the wood chips on the top. When I first got the baby chicks, I just used a baby pad. I mean a doggy pad, or those cotton like pads, I'm talking about. You try to training pads, that's what it was. And I also have some pads left from when I had 2 babies and I had to come home and change myself. I have those pads, not like menstruating pads, y'all. Okay, I know, but just listen to what I'm saying. The big ones that you put underneath you and lay across the bed so you don't get your sheets messed up after you have a baby. Okay, ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about. So I use those. I put the wood chips on top of it because I wanted to catch the moisture. So if there was an accident with water spillage, all the poop and things, they scratch so much, they fly things around. So anyway, that tray waterer has been a thorn in my side. Okay. So I am interested in like the little peck ones where it's like in the side of the bucket or the whatever, and they have to peck it to get it out. I'm interested to see how those work. The pine shavings, I feel like I have not changed. This is my first time today changing the shavings, the whole brooder, just cleaning it all the way out in a month. Even with baby chicks, I was just throwing chips on top. They call it like the deep litter method or something like that. I don't know all the terms, but I just threw chips on top whenever I felt like it was getting smelly. And then I have this like refresher coop stuff that's mostly like essential oils, and diatomaceous earth. But that helps. That helps. But if you don't have that refresh coop stuff, don't worry about it. You don't have to go do that. Just put more chips on top. Now they're still going to scratch it around and stuff, but those wood chips are very absorbent. Very, very absorbent. Or shavings, not chips. Shavings. If your chickens will get really, they grow fast. And I felt like around week 3.5 to 4 weeks, they were flying all over the place. Okay. And they love to like perch or whatever, roost, or is roost when they're just sleeping. But y'all know what I'm saying. They like to fly up and land on something and just hang out. And, I was amazed. But first off, them being so young, but being able to do that so quickly. I don't know. I ain't never raised birds before, so here we go. But they are incredible creatures to watch. So you should just spend some time watching them. They pay attention to you. They know who you are, just like a baby. Just like a baby. When it's feeding time, when it's night time. That's what I tell my. I'm gonna do a video of my routine during the day. And when it's bedtime, I go, night, ladies. And they start chirping really loud because they know it's night time. So they're rushing. It's so funny. They're like teenagers. They're rushing to get a snack real quick and something to drink real quick before they have to go to bed. And then I cut the light off, and it takes them a minute to find their place under the brooder, the heater. But they find their place, and then they eventually calm down. It takes them about 20 minutes. When I cut the light off, I leave the door open so there's a little bit of light so they can find their place, and then I shut the door about 20 minutes later. And they're ready. They're done. When it's morning time, I go, hello, ladies. Good morning, ladies. And they chirp, 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 chirp. I mean, just making all kind of noise, right? But they ready to eat. They ready to drink. By the time I get up in the morning, that waterer is full of shavings and poop again, right? And when you empty that sucker and put it back in there, honey, they just run. They run. That's what they do. They bend down and they throw their head back to drink the water. It's so cute. And then I move the shavings. I take the lid off of the feeder and move the shavings out the way, and that's it. But they are simple. It's not complex. It's not hard. For the first 2 or 3 weeks, I do check all the babies for pasty butt. So every other day, I'm looking at their little behinds to make sure they don't have pasty butt. I feel like when they're 3-4 weeks old, after that, I don't really check them. And their butts, like their vents rather, are very like, hello, there it is, right? You lift them tail feathers up and you're like, yikes. I feel like that thing's gonna eat me sometimes. I do. It's like this. I can't even do it with my hand, but it looks like it just wants to grab me. Oh, it's so funny. And sorry for holding my phone the wrong way, but I'm not re-recording this. I'm not doing it. But y'all, it's so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, after 4 weeks, about 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, I stopped checking for pasty butt. But I do notice that somebody's pooping, and it's brown and kind of runny and yeah, like foamy. Does that make sense? Almost like somebody spit up a loogie, but it's brown and it's shit. Okay, that's definite. I don't know what that is. I don't know which birds are doing it. It's hard. There's 15 of them in there. So I'm not sure. Some of them have the black white poop, I don't know if it's because they're getting older. It might be the older birds, or if something's wrong. Everybody seems healthy. Their behavior seems fine. I just don't know what's going on. Other things about their behavior, they're gonna peck. That's how they find out stuff. It's like kids with their mouths, right? Or babies with their mouths. So, sorry, I'm meddling. I'm still in the car right in line, y'all. But birds peck. to figure things out. So anytime there's a foreign object in their brooder, they have to peck at it to see what it is. So dope. My face is dirty. So what else about their behavior? They're gonna squabble, like just lose their bunkers. Anytime you try to reach down and pick them up, you're not even hurting them. They just that's just their reaction. So don't worry about it. I do encourage everybody to lift the birds with both hands if you need to. Don't try to pick them up and squeeze them like this unless they're that small, right? But if as they're getting bigger, you need to use all of your hands, both hands, to lift them up. I just feel like they're more comfortable that way. Plus they start flapping their wings, and I would just lose my mind if I broke one of their wings or something, you know, just trying to grab them and things. But they're gonna poop on everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be their food, it could be their waterer, it could be the heater, the brooder, it could be, and I have a heat plate, not a heat lamp. They roost or perch, whatever the words are, on top of that thing. They get up there just to have fun and jump down, and they poop. They poop all the time. There's poop every damn where. Poop everywhere. Poop everywhere. But ultimately, like, I've learned that they want things to do, just like dogs. Having a dog or a cat or whatever, any animal, they have to be entertained. I can't wait to get them outside for good, to be honest. The smell in the house, because that's where mine are right now, it can smell animally. Just like when you have dogs and it's time to give them a bath, and you know, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's way doable. But that's probably a clue that you need to change the shavings or add more, whichever one you choose to do, because there's probably some moisture buildup and it's too saturated. You know, the shavings are too saturated or whatever, because you start to smell things. It really shouldn't smell. The wood chips or shavings in themselves have a scent, but you can tell the difference between what the shaving, if it's just the shavings or if it's, you know, time to change that thing out. So that's what I did for the first time. So I've had my first batch of chicken since January 17th, and today is February the 15th, and this is my only time that I've completely taken all the shavings out, dumped them all outside under a tree, because it has that good poop and all the things, and it's going to be good nutrition for that tree. And laid down another puppy pad and more shavings, and it's good as new. So anyway, this video is 13 minutes long. Sorry, but I hope that helps somebody. I plan to talk more about chicken behaviors as I learn them, and as they grow, I'm sure it will change. But so far, so good. Oh, when they think there's a predator, they all group up together. At least in this case, they all flocked together because my dog got out. And we were with the chickens at the time, but honey, they heard him coming. And they all flocked to one corner. And I was like, what is happening? And I look up and there he is. And I'm like, how do you get back in there in your crate, you know? And he went back, but they knew something was going down. So, okay, till next time, y'all. Thanks. Peace.